Hello everybody, Richard Owen here at Owen Automotive, and today we're going to get the motor running in my 1967 Jaguar E-Type. For those not familiar with it, this is the junk E-Type engine. I did an 11-part series, basically documenting bringing this completely seized engine back to life, and I can't wait to get it running in a car. Doesn't it look great here with the triple SUs? But I can't wait to complete it too. So one thing I really got to do is get the cooling system in. It kind of takes up the space in the front here, and I have all the parts on the bench. Let's go have a look. So here's some of the brackets. They were kind of painted a greeny gray. I overdid it with the green, but I'm going to live with it. Header tank and hammer tone, brand new. I know this is going to be a point of contention for a lot of people, but I'm going to fit the original single-sided blade cooling fan in there. Jaguar ran this for 6 years, and I think I can make it run as long as I don't go down to Arizona or any really hot climate. This took a long time. This is the original fan shroud back down to the gel coat. It's made of fiberglass, and this is what the original finish should look like. It was really well preserved because I had a black paint all over this, and I had to use that aircraft paint stripper to get rid of it. It was a cumbersome and took me about an hour, but it certainly looks really awesome now. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And the fan itself, they're not supposed to be yellow, but I kind of like that. Got one of these panels, these ducts that go on the bottom of the car, and some of the things that fasten it. Here's the radiator. I believe it's the original radiator to the car. It's been rebuilt twice. How do I know that? Well, they put tags on these things. So here's one from when it was serviced in Washington. And here's another probably done by the last owner when he lived just outside of Vancouver in Langley at a place called Richardson. So yeah, a lot of history to this radiator. Hopefully it's good enough. I'm going to give it a go. Lastly, I got some new cooling hoses. You can buy them as a complete kit. That's the number right there. That's super helpful because there's a lot of individual pieces. And a few new pipes. I like these in stainless. They're just going to hold up a lot better. So yeah, let's get this stuff in the car. It goes in pretty easy. All right, first step, getting this cooling system installed is testing out the cooling fan, this single-bladed wonder right here. My friend Godfrey's going to hook it up. We're going to see if we have any action. Whoa, sweet. She's blowing. Nice, awesome. Okay, we can proceed. All right, we're just getting ready to put the radiator in, but I've got a couple things set up first. One is the fan shroud just sitting around the fan. That's really nice to get sitting in there. And there's a small splash shield here that protects the radiator. Really great to have all that stuff set up. It kind of works in these brackets here, and it all works together. So I think this is the way to do it. All right, before I go any further with the cooling system, I just want to test out my otter switch I'm going to use on the car. And basically all it does is it bridges ground when it gets to a certain temperature. So I'm going to gently heat this one up, and hopefully at some point my resistance will go to 0. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it does. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Sweet, just when I thought it wasn't going to switch, it just made a contact, so that's great. Got that otter switch installed into the header tank here. This is really a radiator part. It works as the header tank for the radiator. The input's right here. So when the otter switch gets hot enough, it'll bridge that ground, which will control the relay and turn on the fan and keep everything nice and cool. Look at that, loving that header tank sitting there in hammer tone. It looks really great. It's an essential part of the cooling system, working as the expansion tank for the radiator. But when I put it on, I really had to be careful. The way it's mounted is kind of particular, and it makes a difference for the cooling system. What do I mean by that? Well, here's the shroud that I cleaned up earlier, and it's important to have a really good seal to the radiator. So my friend Kevin pinched it to the radiator as we tightened down this bolt, and it made a big difference. So yeah, sealing that shroud to the radiator is going to really help out that single-sided blade in there do its job. A couple other things to note is a relay. For whatever reason, in 1967, they didn't have a fan relay to control the fan motor. And I think it's a really good idea because I don't want all the ground for the fan motor going through the otter switch. So yeah, put this in, kind of inspired by the early 3.80 types that had one actually on the passenger side in somewhat of the similar location. Just moved it down somewhat. and also changed the ground for everything. So I got a nice, really good ground here on the frame for the fan motor and the relay. And I think that's a good thing to do. On the 3.8s, they actually grounded up here, which isn't the greatest because this is all rubber mounted. So yeah, getting the ground is essential. And yeah, that's all part of a complete cooling package that really needs to be in tip-top shape, because if anything happens and this engine overheats, these cylinder heads, they warp like a banana real fast. So got to make sure the cooling system is A1 for sure. So the next thing I'm going to do is some wiring, just get it tidied up along this engine subframe and put in a few cooling hoses, then I'll get back to you guys. Next step, we got to get the distributor in the motor and set it up, time it correctly. We'll do that with a static time. Got to get the motor here to basically 10 degrees and then just set the distributor where the points are just opening. All right, gonna drop the distributor in. Dad's gonna help with this process. Gotta get that dog drive down there right.
There we go here. So the rotor's going this way. It's going anti-clockwise. You want to clockwise into that to get this to. I gotta hook up this lead here. Where's the lead? Here it is. See that spark there?
Yeah.
So that point's just open there. Do it again. That's a good spark.
There you go. Not static time, right?
That's static time, yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks. Looking good here. Got that cap on. Tightened down the base plate. So the engine will start with a static time, but it'll have to be checked with a timing light once the engine's running. Made a lot of progress. Got all the cooling lines on. Really buttoned up the electrical system. Got the wiring harnesses strapped to the engine subframe there. Heater box is in, coolant lines are in, so that's really great. Just want to talk real quickly about this cooling system. Got this big cross flow radiator, and basically the water pump draws the coolant from the bottom here. You can see the line snaking through there to the water pump, and it takes that cooled coolant and shoves it right into the engine block and cylinder head. It goes around, comes back through the intake manifold, goes through the header tank, doesn't fill it, and comes back to the rad. And then we've got two more lines over here. This top one, it just functions as the expansion tank. So as the coolant expands, it goes into the tank. And we've got a little bypass here, and that's when the thermostat's closed. It just lets a little coolant through the system. So yeah, making real good progress. Not long we'll have this engine running. Just about to put this nasty exhaust on the E-Type, but it's complete and it can go up without much fuss. Just gonna take a break and have a look at this Daimler. It's a totally odd car in proportion, but in detail it's just lovely. Dad's gonna open the hood here. You can see what's powering it. I think this is what Jaguar were after when they bought the Daimler company. Look at that. So this was recently restored by another company here in town, and they did an awesome job. Presentation is just stellar. Total, got access to everything. The distributor's up top, carbs, got the master cylinders there in the corner. I'm gonna get my dad just to actuate the throttle because the linkage in here is just wild. Take a look at this. Yeah, isn't that unusual? Well, yeah, lovely car. Just have a look at the interior here quickly. My dad says that the frame, it looks like a Triumph frame that's just been widened. And you can see some Triumph stuff going on here, the Triumph steering wheel and gauges. Yeah, cool car, right on. Just before we leave, had to have a look at the hubcaps on this thing. Probably not an easy item to get if one's missing or dented, but these just look absolutely superb. Yeah, you can really get lost in the details of this car. I love the beehives in the grille. Yeah, lovely. We're getting close, just doing the hydraulics. Gonna start with the clutch slave cylinder here. Somebody in the comments mentioned, yeah, how do you bleed this when the nipple's on the bottom? And my friend Dana here provided the solution. Got a long line filled with brake fluid and a syringe, and this is gonna push the fluid up and into the reservoir. Let's see how this goes. Okay, let's see if this gets up to the bottle.
More, you think so?
Oh, I got some. We made it. All right, just gonna do a first start. Gonna get the fuel up to the carbs. Let's see if there's any leaks. Filling up the system. No leaks back here. Okay, stopped. Any leaks anywhere? Got another fuel filter here just to protect the system. Looks pretty good. Climbing in there. Gonna do a first start of the junk E-Type motor in my car. See how this goes. Okay, just about to test the ignition system. Didn't seem to have any spark there, so gonna check power to the coil and see what the rotor's doing. We got power to the coil. No. Oh. Looks pretty good there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Okay.
All right, changed out the rotor. This one was broken inside, so it wasn't sitting in the right position. See that? Don't know how that happened. Got a new rotor in there. Let's see what the performance here. Let's see what happens. Okay. Alternator's making a little bit of a noise. It's getting pretty hot. Look in here, just chill out. It's starting to smoke. It sounds awesome, eh? Well, the tach's working, that's nice. The oil pressure is reading something, so and the fuel is just moved up a little bit, so I think those are working. It seems to be on charge. Let's check it. Dad's checking the timing. Manifold's real smoking here. How is it?
Yeah, it's a little advanced, but we'll slow it down and see what it's like.
Manifold's really smoking here. See if there's any leaking under the car. Nothing. There we go.
Getting about 12 degrees.
12?
I think it must be a little bit less than that, but that's fine for running.
That's pretty good.
About 14 volts.
Okay, still smoking. Look at that, 14 volts charge. Awesome. I just grabbed that thing and stuck it on. Okay, right on. Dad says the temperature gauge is moving up, so that's nice. Yeah, look at that. Sweet. Taking that. Sounds really good at low idle here. Yeah, low idle. So steady. So I guess the last thing we're waiting on is this cooling fan to spin at the right temperature. The auto switch.
Yeah, so it's 195, so probably should either trip it or turn it off.
Let's trip it. Just take that off and we just manually trip the fan. The auto switch isn't coming on at the right time, so we're gonna have the fan consistently running, I think. Oh.
I'll shut it off if it's too hot to hold it.
Okay. Awesome, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, the auto switch wasn't tripping in time, so we just bypassed it here. And it's doing its job. It's actually lowering the temperature, so that's brilliant.
Came down 5 degrees. Quite a bit of air through there.
Yeah, it's the first time it's moved under its own power. Look at that. And take this thing for a drive. Here it comes up for the first drive. Clutch seems to work, brakes seem to work. Awesome. It's just recording.
It's working good.
I'm gonna go down to that fire lane there.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, it really does nice.
Let's try this. Woo! All right, really looking forward to this. Spent 3 hard weeks working full-time on this car. Now it's ready to go down the road. Yeah, loving this. Got some original Lucas PLs in there. Just installed those. My friend Dana helped me do that. Really digging that. Got some new H4s in there. There's his BMW. He's gonna follow me home and on our little journey today. Yeah, really looking forward to this. First driving the E-Type. Woo! Okay. Yeah, doing really good on these empty roads. All the gauges seem to work. Got a bit of smell coming up. All that new paint's just getting used to getting really, really warm. But yeah, loving this. First driving the E-Type. It's just lovely. Great highway driver. Can't get enough of this. Wonderful. Yeah.
So there's a lot of friction.
All right, look at that. Here we are at the Agricultural Land Reserve on the Saanich Peninsula. Can't think of a better place to really appreciate the lines of a car like the E-Type. Really enjoyed my first drive there out here. Really performed well. All the gauges worked. What kind of miracle was that? But yeah, just love the car. It's really amazing. Lots of power, super smooth down the highway. Yeah, really no issues. Just gonna have to work on the cosmetics of the car now. A lot of things I put under the hood I didn't really paint. I just threw it on. Spent the last 3 weeks really just putting this car together as fast as I could. Give you a look at the interior here. Not a lot going on. Got an old junk seat in there. It's just barely held down. You can see don't even have the dash cap on or any interior. Just got enough to really keep the car functional. Yeah, but no shake from the Pirellis and the old wire wheels, so no complaints there. And you're really gonna finish up here on my favorite angle of this car from the rear. Has such a swoopy, beautiful fastback line. I just can't get enough of it. Kind of cheat the sun in here. It makes for an epic shot. Come on. Come on. There we go. And yeah, here's one of my favorite shots. Just get the sun in there. All right, well, that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching. We got it running. Really loving that. Lots more to come. There's going to be a lot of work to do on this car and other cars. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.